2016 was recognized as the 10th anniversary of the Spiritual Community Church of the West.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
People have been saying to me, why don't you start up a church, And I didn't have a clue I was going to start a church. Nor did I really think I ever would, or I wanted to. But after I made the decision to leave my former church, I sat in front of the computer one evening, I'll never forget it, and I Googled, how do I start a church?
Let it be, dear Lord, let it
It was
be.
quite comical when Bruce called me to get involved with the church, because my first response was, what, me in church? He went on to explain to me that this wasn't going to be the typical church. It was going to be more spiritual than religious, and music's got to be a big part of it. I did connect spiritually with this community of faith, and it's been a huge part of my journey.
The last shall be first, and the
When we started this thing 10 years ago, I don't think we really knew where it was going. And there have been a lot of accomplishments, there's been challenges along the way. I believe that Your Graceland is a name for the kingdom of God at work in this community and affecting the community around it.
It's been a big part of my life through the course of that 10 years. I've had many challenges in my own personal life. 2012, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And that cancer journey for me would have been much more difficult, much more wearing, had it not been for this community of faith, my connection with God through that community of faith. What a wonderful family I've found here with the folks at Your Graceland. We share the sad, we share the happy.
Well, one of the things about Your Graceland that I was reflecting on is that each person who has stepped through our doors has shaped the identity of what we're all about. It's helping each person to connect in their own lives with how God's grace touches them.
I enjoyed seeing actually the community of people. I haven't been in a church in a long time, and seeing the whole community of people, it's really nice.
I loved it. It was as spectacular as I knew it would be, and the crowd, and we were just amazed at how many people came, and you never disappoint us. It's always a good show when Bruce Sheesby is involved.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful, as always, and I always leave feeling so much better than when I came.
Your Graceland Church is one of the friendliest, most accepting groups I have ever encountered. The love, the acceptance, the appreciation, everything. You have been a huge support, and I love this group.
I've often kidded along the way about the little church that could. That's kind of been the nickname for Spiritual Community Church of the West, because this small group of people, over the years, we've raised over $250,000 for charity and special events that we do, like our Christmas concerts and fundraising events. That's pretty amazing for a small church.
Wherever there's brokenness, wherever there's heartache, wherever there's disease or hurt, there's a need for grace. I define grace as God's activity in a broken world. And as long as our world has problems, has difficulties, we need God's grace. And that's our focus. It's to touch God's grace in people's lives. What we want people to feel is we want them to feel at home. We want them to feel comfortable, that they're being honored in who they are. It lightens the load. And part of what grace is to do, it's to lighten the load. Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are carrying heavy loads, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And what we would hope is that by discovering more about God's grace, that you'll have a lighter step that you'll feel a greater sense of being at peace with yourself and with the world around you. That you can experience joy.
That star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. Oh, beautiful star